What he's trying to get you to do is basically, if I do a polygon, let's just do a quick one somewhere around here. 6 sides, let's go with 6 sides. Let's just click it somewhere for the center, and there, inscribe to do, it doesn't really matter. So it tries to get you to do something like that. And if I just move this out of the way, okay, not press F8 while you're recording. F8 does set the ortho on or off. So, okay, so let's go put it there. Alright, so now the other thing it does, it gets you to change the width of this. I think you will be using a command called Polyline edit. Those of you have done it, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's one way you can do it. And under Polyline edit, you get lots of different options. One of them is to set the width, W for width, enter or click it. Alright, what was it, 1 that it got you to do? That doesn't really matter. Alright, that's probably too much. Let's go 0.5. Alright, there you go. So, and it does get you to do a few other things with it. As you can see, there's a few other options. One of them is fit. If I click on fit, look what it did. It turned the hexagon into a circle. Surely you can just use the circle command to get a circle and not that. Yeah, okay, the other thing you can do is also spline. And it does a smaller circle, alright? Okay, again, you can use the circle command. It's not what it's actually trying to teach you. It's something sort of different it's trying to teach you, but it doesn't work with the example used. Okay, let me just show you. I'll just, we can actually undo that as well. We can actually undo that. I'll just get out of it. I'll go back in. And if I click on this again, I should be able to undo that. Decurve, get you back to how it was, alright? Now, okay, polyline. It's basically what a polygon is a bunch of lines that are stuck together, right? Joined together. So I could just draw straight out a polyline. This one here, PL for polyline is a short command. Alright, so let's just do one. This one here. Okay, there's my polyline. Alright, it's not closed like the polygon is. Alright, so now let me just go here and see if there's any different colors we use that are not off. It says frame is not off. Oh, yeah, it's a nice color. Let me just draw point. Let's put a point here. Let's put a point at every position there that it changes direction. Okay. There is a format for the points up here under format point style. It's just so I can show you here, but it's good while I'm going through it to know what I'm doing. Point style. Points by default are just dots. See, dot. I want it to be represented as that. And I go OK. Then you can see where I put those points. Alright. We latch onto points by using this node, the node object snap. Alright. So that's just by the by. Now use the polyline edit command again, PE. And I'll click on this thing here. Exactly the same options as before. Alright, down the bottom here. Okay, so what can we do here? We can do the same stuff. We can give it a width. We'll go 0.5. We can, while we're in here, we can do lots of stuff. We can do F for fillet. Sorry, F for fit. And look what happens, alright? Now, note that this thing here goes through each one of those vertices, or those points, sorry. Okay? If I now go with the spline rather than the fit, look what happens. It starts and finishes on those points, but the rest of it is just an approximation. It's like a rough sort of outline of what my original one was, alright? So now, that's what happened before when we got the first one. We got the bigger circle was the fit, and we got a smaller circle was that approximation using the spline. Now, this is much more useful as an example because it shows you that, for example, you might do a rough, quick sort of polyline. It may be like landscaping, for example. It might be some sort of form. It might even be contours or something. Just a quick rough thing, or where you're going to cut the ground or whatever, and then you want to smooth it out a bit, right? Then you can use that. And you don't have to give it a width first. You can just leave it as it was originally with no width, all right? So that's what that example, actually, apart from teaching you how to do polygons, it doesn't really teach you much else further than that. It doesn't make sense. It hasn't got a right application for it. So that's what that is. So that's the one there. The other one is just one there we have with Andrew was the offset. Okay, so that was using this guy here, I think, or something like that. It doesn't really matter. What we ended up having was, I'll just draw something like this here. This is a rough thing. And we had another line that originally went through here and perpendicular to that there. Okay, so then we had to offset this halfway down, I think, and then the other one halfway up. And I think the book might have asked you to, and it's enter there or not? Oh, there is it. Yeah, the book asked you to list this first, I think, didn't it? They give you a list. Yeah, so use the list, LI for list. I'm not sure where it is in here. I've got no idea what half of these things are. I'm the first one to admit it, but I'll type in LI for list, all right? And you click this here and just gives you some information. There it is. All it's asking you to do is get the radius of this thing, because the radius is actually what you need to offset that line by to get the other half of it over here down this end. All right. So by the way, when we're talking about list, equally as list, the properties command can do the same thing. Where's the properties? Here, this one here. Control 1 is a shortcut to get properties up. But if I get properties palette up, there it is. I can click on here, or I can click on here first, right click, and then get properties. Many different ways of doing it. That information should also be in here of that line, I reckon. Sorry, well, it's not the line we're looking at, it's the circle. And if I'm just make this bigger, there's that information you want. Right? Other way, you can copy it, in fact, or you can write it down. You can copy it and paste it into another command. Saves you making any mistakes. That number is as good as your rounding, and your rounding is probably about right because the rounding is to 4 decimal points. This is only 3, so we're pretty safe. But if it was something like 0.7731, I'd be worried that perhaps the next number was 2, and it's just rounding it to the nearest one. So that could introduce inaccuracies for a start. Okay, so I prefer to actually not do it that way. I prefer to, and that's why Andrew's saying, human error. It has a human error. Andrew sort of miscalculated, or the division didn't quite work out, or something, and we ended up with that line actually being, when you looked at it close up, I'll just offset it for a minute. I'll just put it by. That line was that line was a little. Oh, here. Yeah. I'll just copy it, it's easier. Excuse me, it's trouble. Yeah, that line looked alright there, but when we zoomed in, it was a little bit out, and therefore he couldn't trim. Okay, and it's not just picking on Andrew, because it happens every year and every semester with probably about 25% at least of the students. So it is a problem. Okay, so now this is the way I would have done this. I would have gone offset. All right, and I would have gone O for offset, or click the offset command, which is in the home here, is somewhere around about there. All right, so offset command, and where it's asking me for the distance, I've got no idea what it is, and I don't actually care. So what I would have done is gone to the center of the circle, and then clicked on the quadrant. This thing here will get you to latch onto the outside of the circle. All right? So what I'm doing there is telling it the distance is from there to there, and that's all it is. I don't care. It'll give me exactly to 8 decimal points, regardless of what we got down the bottom here, which there it is, down the bottom in the coordinates. All right, it's only 4. All right, so if we go now, it's asking me what line do you want to offset. This one to there, and this one again to the other side. Enter to finish. It should be spot on. In theory, it should work perfectly. So I erase this now, and I TR, remember the trim command, TR for trim, enter, and I enter one more time, so that you can just work out itself where it's going to next. There it is, right? So that's how I would have done that, and I encourage you to do that. There's a lot of human errors otherwise, all right? All right, so that's that one there. What else have we got? copy, move, fillet, trim, whatever. While in the trimming mode, just a quick recap because some of the things didn't work out last week with the YouTube. If I go extend, start with EX for extend, enter. It's trim and extend are sort of cousins. They work similarly. It's asking me for a boundary edge. I could tell it at this point I want you to extend up to here, and then press enter. You can select more than one edge to extend to, but I only want one. So enter. Next step is saying, what do you want to extend? I want this, and there you go. That does not intersect it. Does this intersect it? Yes, it does. All right. So there we have, so we have a bit of a problem because that didn't intersect it. So that's fine. But that's really limiting, and you only use that in certain situations, probably 10% of the time. The one I prefer is extend, EX, enter. And where it's asking me to give it the boundary edge, I won't this time. I'm just going to press enter. And it can work out where the next nearest boundary edge is. If I click on this one here, it finds that this is the next boundary edge. All right, so that's a quick extend. If I keep clicking, it will just keep going to the next one. If I press shift, it turns the extend into a trim, and there it is. It trims to the next one and to the next one. All right, so shift key down and clicking on stuff, it goes to the next available line. And same here, I can extend, so I can hold the shift key and trim that up if I want to. And same with the trim, TR for trim, enter, enter again. Now I'll find something else to trim here. I can trim that. Oh, that doesn't go to that. You can't trim to the dimension. Sorry, I can trim this line to that dash line. There you go. See? So there you go. So that's the trimming. And similarly, shift key down, it makes it into extend. Okay, wonderful. All right, so that's good. The other thing is MTP is a good one, and the array command. The fillet command will do first. So the fillet command, F for fillet, and if I click this, now what I want to watch is that the radius is 0 if I want a sharp corner, and I do in this instance. So it says 0, so I can click this and click that, and there you go, sharp corner. If I was doing more than one, I'll go fillet, and I'll go multiple, assuming my radius is fine. So I'll go, okay, well I want to do that, and I'm going to sort of duck around somewhere else and find something else in a hurry that I want to do as well. That one there, and that one, and that one, and that one. Okay. And earlier on we were talking about polygons, by the way, and I've just forgotten something else. If we had a polygon, which was, sorry. Okay. It's recording again. That's good. I pressed F8 twice. So that fixed the problem up. All right. So basically, if I go ortho on, okay, like that, enter. I'm just jumping back from fillet for a minute. But if I go to chamfer, CHA for chamfer, it requires a distance. If I go D for distance, enter, I'll put in 1, and I'll go another distance 1, and I can go now the multiple, polyline. If I'm going multiple to start with, I'll just go like this, and it just does that, and that, and that, and that. You can hardly see it. There you go. It's doing that. So that's taking a long time. So if I just undo that, and if I did what are we doing? Chamfer, CHA, enter. Chamfer is hiding back here. That's chamfer. All right. What I would do is set my distance again. Maybe I'll make it a bit bigger. Maybe I'll do 3 and 3. And if I go P for polyline here, and I click on here, it does it all at once. Right? So that will come eventually. Right? If this wasn't a polyline already, and it was a bunch of lines, okay, remember that command we had before, PE, that we used for the width and whatever else, we can use PE again. And if I go, we had the fit and we had the spline, that command, PE, had another option. So click on here. First of all, if I don't click on a polyline, it will come up and say, do you want to turn it into a polyline? It's a stupid question, I know. Yes is always the answer. All right. And then it goes into those lots of little options. One is to join. There is a straight join command. You could use that. Join. You type in join, enter, and it will just shortcut all this. This is the old-fashioned way. And now, J for join we did. We can just a window now. As long as they're touching each other, we'll join them. So then once you join them, then you can do that chamfer, and then it's just like a polyline. But it only works in polylines, that P for polyline option under the chamfer. Okay, so that's that. A lot of stuff. But let's go to fillet. We've done fillet. It's got a multiple option as well, as I said before. All right, so that it doesn't bomb out once you've done one.